Okay, basketball fan, tell me you watched Iowa trounce LSU last night after LSU, the players left the floor for the national anthem.
Oh, okay. Since so much attention was paid to Caitlin Clark, and I did watch the last few minutes. I was blissfully unaware of the anthem antics, but it makes me now doubly, triply glad that they lost. And I like Kim Mulkey, by the way, a huge Baylor legacy there. And
but I liked her until she was asked about her team leaving the floor for the anthem.
In which
she said, honestly, I don't even know when the anthem was played. We kind of have a routine, and we do our routine. Let's see, she's been a coach for decades.
Yeah, Most don't know people, when the anthem is.
Yeah, they know when the anthem is played. And Iowa stood there. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It was fascinating to watch it play out on social media, because when it happened before the game, everybody said on social media at least, well, we're all Iowa fans now. Okay, so LSU, you're marching off the court because you're refusing to be present for the national anthem, and that is exactly what they did. And Kim Mulkey, who, you're right, I like her. I mean, she's feisty and fiery, and
she's a great coach and has great success. However,
they did a big hit piece on her the other day in the Washington Post, and she kind of preempted that by saying they're going to do a hit piece on me. And I mean, it was kind of scathing. I mean, she's controlling, and she's tough and everything else. Anyway, turns out Caitlin Collins and Iowa beat LSU pretty handily, and a whole lot of Americans were thrilled because of the anthem antics. That feels so 2020, doesn't it?
It does, and you just turned Caitlin Clark into a CNN anchor, Caitlin Collins.
Caitlin Clark.
Now, and for those that don't know, Caitlin Clark is the greatest women's basketball player of all time. Totally understand that and appreciate her. She scored 41 points last night. Angel Reese, this was offered up as kind of a feud, and understandably, because this was last year's women's final, Iowa and LSU, and LSU won. So this was the rematch, and it was 94-87. Iowa won, and Caitlin Clark clearly was the superior player, clearly one of the greatest of all time in the women's basketball world. I'm going to step into this. The best today, this year's women's basketball national champions would be beaten by 60 by the worst men's college basketball team in America. It's again now, and I say that not to go nasty women's basketball. I don't like, because I do. Ditto with tennis or anything else, because actually the women's game is pretty darn entertaining. I've watched a couple of WNBA games, over my life. So there is something to this, but I'm noticing an odd attempt to shoehorn the women's game into some type of equality with the men's game. Like, why don't the WNBA people make as much as the NBA? Viewership, fan base, merchandising, et cetera, et cetera. There is nothing wrong. It's not criticism of the women's game at all. And Caitlin Clark is as good as everybody says she is, and boy, does she prove it last night.
I mean, it was last year or a year or so ago, somebody got harassed. Well, I think it was Brittany Griner got harassed in an airport, I think at DFW, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a national outrage automatically. Well, why don't these WNBA players fly on private jets like the WNBA stars do and all those teams do? You got a fraction of the revenue. Are you kidding me? You don't. Yeah. But there's a great snapshot of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Thank you. Exactly.
Doesn't matter who pays for it. As long as the women are flying on private planes, just like the men are, everybody's happy. And this is the mindset of the loony left. They do this all the time. If you're a gazillion-dollar industry and you can afford to fly teams on private chartered jets, you can. You can in the WNBA. They don't generate that kind of income.
Speaking of basketball and equality, there's an interesting online feud going on right now between Mark Cuban and Chris Rufo. Because Cuban came out with this, bless his heart, and I can't not like Cubes. He's a great owner and a great dude in many ways, with this mush-brained thing about DEI. It's just about equality of opportunity. It's just about doing outreach and making sure everybody gets a fair shake. That's a complete lie. Cuban's not a liar. I think he's just deluded by the aura of DEI and wanting to be nice to people. Rufo is as sharp as they come, pointing out that DEI is absolutely quotas. It's absolutely racist. It's absolutely absolutely race preferences. It's absolutely about, picking and choosing people based on irrelevancies like race and sex. And they're kind of going back and forth. And there's word that there may be some actual debate somewhere that people can attend between them on that issue. And I'd pay money for that.
Well, I always wonder about reporters not asking provocative people like Mark Cuban a simple question. Ask him about China. Ask him about China. And it's he goes down a rabbit hole, man. It is bizarre. Some things are right in front of your face. I don't know why somebody doesn't ask Congressman Mike Gallagher, why are you resigning April 19th instead of April 9th?
This all happened last week. Didn't it? Would happen when we were apart? Because you changed your Twitter handle or something. It says, looks like I need to protect myself against being misidentified as this guy. Congressman Mike Gallagher, who, what was his vote that everybody hated 3 weeks ago?
Against the impeachment of Mayorkas.
Thank you. And that was when you very sort of tongue-in-cheek said, listen, I'm the radio guy, Mike Gallagher. Well, that wasn't tongue-in-cheek. It was very real. You caught holy you-know-what from people who thought you were the congressman, and you almost had to get like armed security for a couple of days. Semi-kidding, because it was important for people to know that you were not him. And now all of a sudden he resigns from Congress. It's okay if you don't want to run again, but then decides to stick around long enough and make his exit late enough that there can't be a special election to replace him.
To fill the seat. 10 days. 10 days.
With this narrow margin, with this slim majority in the House.
Per Wisconsin law, if he had resigned prior to April the 9th, a special election would have been held, and it would have been easily replaced with a Republican in that district. Instead, he's deciding to hold on for 10 more days, April 19th. In a post to Truth Social 2 days ago, Trump took aim at Congressman Gallagher, said, never forget our cowards and weaklings, such a disgrace. He's right. I mean, and has any reporter asked Congressman Mike Gallagher, why are you waiting 10 days? Mark, the answer is real easy. He wants to stick it to the Republican Party.
Precisely right.
He wants to hurt
the vindictiveness of the soft GOP. I want to make like a hashtag of soft GOP. People who are technically Republicans. People like Mitch McConnell, who the other day talked about the isolationists in his own party, which is people who dare to suggest that maybe we need some kind of a negotiated settlement in Ukraine. The soft GOP like Mike Pence. The soft GOP like Chris Christie. It's as big a problem as the left.
But it does speak volumes about how Trump is right about these rhinos. He's right about these squishy Republicans. Yep. This reveals everything you need to know about Congressman Mike Gallagher. And I'm back to the original question. Has anybody asked him? What is your purpose in holding on for 10 days other than to stick it to the Republican Party? And if that's the truth, if that's the case, because now it leaves the House in a very precarious position, because now Republicans will have a razor-thin 217 to 214 advantage in the House. That means the GOP can only afford to lose one Republican vote in order to pass any measure. And again, if he would just have resigned a week and a half earlier, April 9th, and incidentally, how about his district? How'd you like to live in his district? They won't be represented now until Election Day. So for the rest of the year, that district does not have any representation because of the selfishness and I think Trump is right, the cowardness and the weakness of Mike Gallagher. The guy's an absolute disgrace. There's no other way to describe it, Mark, unless there's some explanation. And I would love to
tell it. Yes, and you do this too. And we always want to be fair. Whenever we come down hard on somebody, it's like, please help us understand. If there's something that will get us off your back, please tell us what that is so that we can get off your back. In the absence of that, I want to like the guy. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, and I know I am painfully aware that one of our colleagues has him on practically daily. And I'm not going to take pot shots at Hugh Hewitt, but the bottom line is Hugh is one of the best interviewers in the business. Hey, why don't you ask him? Ask him why you're waiting 10 days. And if the answer is what we think it is, that's reprehensible, Mark. That is it's here we go again with the Trump derangement syndrome. It's in their brains. It poisons them. There is, as you say, a binary choice now. You better, what, or get off the pot for the good of this country. And if we're going to have 4 more years of Oyster Bunny,
If that's going to be our next 4 years, we're doomed. We are going to be in so much trouble. You saw the judge in Texas, like I said, let every one of those illegals who stormed the border go. Let them all go.
Shocker.
They're all free now in the United States, going Lord knows where to do Lord knows what. I mean, this stuff is over and over and over again. Americans are either going to wake up or I'm not. Listen, I'm on a plane Friday. I'm going to go to Japan. I may check out some housing opportunities over there. I mean, I think I'd do very. Now, the language might be a problem, but with Google Translate, and I'm very excited about Google Translate, I'm going to carry that phone around with me. It is the coolest thing in the world.
Now, are we at the point now? I know where you can talk into the phone.
You talk into it, and then it talks.
And it just instantly does it for you, right?
Instantly in Japanese. Yep. It's the coolest thing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I'm a nervous wreck about it but I mean, Google Translate. I've got, here it is. Look what I can do here.
I hope it's flawless so you don't turn to some Japanese cab driver and say, my earmuffs are on fire or something like that. I don't know, right?
It's time for the Mark and Mike experience. Okay, now. Right. Boom. Okay, now. And then, how do I play it?
Oh, no.
I don't know how to play it. Oh, this might be a problem.
I was afraid of this.
Stop
it. Don't even try.
It's time for the Mark and Mike experience. Okay, now.
Why isn't it playing in Japanese?
I don't know.
All right, well, it needs some work. I'm going to wind up in a prison over there.
Exactly.
I'm going to wind up.
American talk show host says he has a bomb in his luggage. No, I was asking for the address of the hotel.
All I want to know is where the bathroom was. That's all I was asking. I know Ohio Gozaimasu. That's supposed to be. I think that's where's the bathroom, or maybe that's thank you.
Okay.
Ohio Gozaimasu. But this, I'm kind of excited about this trip. I'm going to go do some sightseeing.
Now, are you going to get out? I mean, Tokyo, I think would just make my brain leak after like a day. I'd have to get out to Kyoto, out to the Calmer.
Yes, I want to go to the temples. I want to see the cherry blossoms and all that. Yes. And you're bagging on me for going to Disney. Incidentally, I forgot to mention this to you yesterday. This happened while you were gone too.
Yep.
Did you see DeSantis officially beat Disney?
Complete victory, absolutely.
A total victory. And guess what mainstream media isn't covering it? Ours. It's barely mentioned, but DeSantis absolutely beat them into submission. Yep. They cried uncle. The lawsuits are over. It's done. And DeSantis and the guy is the best. I know Greg Abbott's great. Ron DeSantis is a superstar of governors. I mean, this guy over and over again coming up with, getting homeless people off the street, getting them into facilities. He's making sure that gets done. I mean, my gosh.
Does it instill in you? It's kind of funny because when his actual presidential campaign fizzled, and it did, the VP running mate talk kind of fizzled with it because that's what happens. It's what have you done lately? But now as we are reminded of how just genuinely wonderful a governor he is, does the Trump DeSantis bumper sticker kind of,
hey, it's my dream ticket. I don't know what he's
pretty cool.
I guarantee you, I'm going to make one prediction. Trump is going to shock the world with whoever he picks. It's going to be the wildest choice. It's going to be something unconventional.
I was going to say, in order to be, because I thought the same thing, because I often thought, because there's thought of DeSantis or Tim Scott or, Sarah Sanders. I increasingly think it's going to be somebody that we're not even talking about.
I know. That's what I think. It's somebody, I told you the name that I got months ago, Lee Zeldin out of New York. Who knows?
But we're talking about him now. We've been talking about him.
I know. He's on the table.
He's on the list.
Yeah, but he's still, most people would say, who? What? Lee Zeldin.
Former New York congressman and did well in the race for governor. Oh, Tucker Carlson. 60 seconds. Speaking of New York governors, Kathy Hochul shows up at the Jonathan Diller wake, the NYPD officer killed in a domestic by a repeat criminal who shouldn't have been on the street. Just once again, every bit of evidence.
21 times.
New York is just not serious about law and order. And the governor, Kathy Hochul, shows up at the wake for the NYPD officer. One of two things is true. Number one, if the governor shows up, you show grace. It's always a kind of an honor for the governor to show up. Or number two, she's the problem and she should have been escorted out of the building, because that's what happened.
Well, that is what happened. And if you lost a loved one to somebody who was arrested and let go 21 times, and then the governor who signed the law justifying and validating that policy wants to show up to your loved one's funeral, you got a right to say take a hike.
She wanted to speak, and AG Letitia James wanted to speak at the funeral. They were respectfully declined.
Can you imagine how? Do you remember when she got booed last week at an NYPD event? Imagine what happens if she stood up and tried to speak at the funeral of Officer Doe. Oh my gosh, that would be nasty. All right, onward and upward, my friend.
Ready to go.
3 days. Countdown is on. 3 more days, and then I'm out of the country for my birthday.
You floated the notion of doing like a 6:35 p.m. of calling us from Japan one day.
Right, because it's 7:30. It'll be 13 hours later. No, it's what time is it over there then?
So it's 8:30. Alexa, what time is it in Tokyo?
In Tokyo, it's 9:54 p.m.
There you go. So
I could do that before I go to bed.
14 hours plus. Oh, hang on a sec. Let's see if Alexa does what your phone wants. Hang on, stand by. Hang on. Alexa, how do you say "where's the bathroom" in Japanese?
Where's the bathroom in Japanese is トイレはどこ?
There you go.
There we go. I'll just bring Alexa with me.
Carry an Alexa disc with you.
I mean, but no, I should pop in. We'll do a couple 735s from Japan.
Listen, I'm totally teasing.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I mean, listen, I'm sure the phone will work. I'm going to be popping Ambien like TikToks.
Exactly.
Because the stupid time zone difference. I'll be up when you're asleep.
Don't tease me, man.
I'm telling you what. All right, goodbye.
Alexa, we're ready.